I've really been enjoying the throwback videos recently, and to be honest, it almost feels like I'm falling in love with Battlefield again after a really rocky year with BF5. Battlefield 4 has been keeping me occupied, but I had to go back and play more Battlefield 3. It's a game that was groundbreaking at the time, but since then has aged a little bit. That being said, you've probably caught a few of my recent Battlefield 3 videos taking a look back at Zebra Tower and then some Rush on Damavand Peak, probably my two favourite maps in Battlefield 3. In this one though, I'm going for something a bit different. Instead of a live commentary, this one will be me talking over some gameplay that I recorded on a close quarters server before unfortunately getting banned, but that's another story. I want to try and work out what made Close Quarters, the entire DLC, so fun. Battlefield 3 is known for having janky netcode, 10Hz servers, and with it being nearly 10 years old, it certainly does show its age with a few different things. However, I'd argue it's still one of the best Battlefield experiences you can have to date, and I want to work out why. That Close Quarters DLC was amazing when it dropped, focusing on small maps and infantry, bringing a few new modes, and we'll get into that in a minute. Why haven't DICE taken a look at that in more recent updates for Battlefield 1, Battlefield 5, even looking at BF4, and we haven't really seen that close quarters stuff as prominently as we saw in BF3. Before we get started, I do get asked a few questions. People want to know whether it's worth buying Battlefield 3 and playing it. The answer is yes, 100%. You can pick up Battlefield 3 incredibly cheaply, and as a shameless plug, there is a link in the description that will take you to Instant Gaming, a sponsor for this channel, where you can pick up Battlefield 3 Premium, even Battlefield 4 or Battlefield 1 and all the premium content incredibly cheaply. The servers are still full, loads of people are playing, and it's well worth doing. If you're still on the fence about it and you don't know whether to take that risk, I suppose, and start investing a load of time into Battlefield 3, this video will definitely help you make that decision. So back to the video. Close Quarters was one of the best DLCs ever to drop in my opinion, bringing so much incredible content. Not only did you get 4 brilliant maps, you also got Conquest Domination, a new mode, and then of course Gunmaster, one of the best modes you can play on Battlefield. When it goes right, Gunmaster is so much fun. Both of these modes are superb if you enjoy that infantry focused element of Battlefield, and ultimately they suit the close quarters style maps that DICE brought, which makes sense. Some close quarters maps and some new modes to go along with them. We also got a bunch of new weapons, including the AUG, the MTAR-21, the MP5K, the LSAT, Spaz-12, the JNG-90, I seem to remember. There were tons of them that came out with that DLC. This is the time when DLCs were also done properly in my opinion. I really looked forward to when they were released, when the hype built up for the DLC. There was nothing stopping me playing that thing. On the day it released, I would play it, there's no doubt about that. I do remember though, the reception for Close Quarters when it came out, especially with the reviews from Metacritic and other big game critics, was only around 7 out of 10. It's not bad, 7 out of 10, but in my opinion it was a 9 out of 10. It was amazing. I think it goes to show that you should never really listen to these people from the big gaming outlets as, gospel. What they say isn't necessarily spot on. Some of their reviews are good, but as we've seen, especially with Battlefield 5, it was rated very highly on release, and obviously they didn't play enough of the game to understand why it wasn't as good as they thought it was. And maybe back in the day with Battlefield 3 there were problems that we've since forgotten, and we're looking back on it with these rose-tinted glasses, but I think it's great. Close Quarters was, and still is, an unbelievable experience. One of the main things that struck me when I first played the Close Quarters DLC were definitely the visuals. Visually, it seems cleaner, very similar to Mirror's Edge in a way on a few of the maps, and interestingly, from what I've heard, the same guy that designed Mirror's Edge also designed Zebra Tower. This modern look is amazing, with loads of glass panels and contrasting minimalistic styling. I really love it. But they're not all like this. Zebra Tower and Operation 925 have that modern look, while Danya Fortress and Scrap Metal are slightly different. The balance though is spot on. You get a whole load from just 4 maps. Micro destruction is also something that you can't really see on a lot of maps because of what's going on, but on these smaller maps it's really, really prevalent. There's so much going on in such a small space. Zebra Tower and Operation 925 are definitely the go-to for this, with the whites on the wall really making it quite obvious when the bullets and the gunshots fly past you and hit the wall. It's just amazing. Also, with the glass shattering around you, there's nothing quite like it. Not only the visuals impress me though, but also the audio. Battlefield 3 has so much going on, and on these larger maps sometimes it gets away from you a bit. I know even when you're in the quiet in Battlefield 3 on a hill sniping, the audio is really quite immersive, all the little bits and pieces you get from just your soldier making noise. But in the case of, let's take for example Zebra Tower, the audio is incredible. Listen to this short clip. I'm playing some Gunmaster, and the sounds and everything that goes on around you. It's just superb.
I spotted an enemy soldier, over. Enemy soldier spotted, over.
So here we've got a bit of gameplay from Scrap Metal. As I said, I was playing on a Conquest Domination server that I eventually got banned from, but it had the 4 DLC maps from Close Quarters. It's very rare in BF3 that you actually get to play a full server with, you know, the perfect rotation. And a 64-player Conquest Domination server is hard to come by in BF3. As I said, loads of servers are still there, but with, you know, these more specific DLC rotations, it can be difficult to find. I'm using the M16A3 here, one of my favourite guns, and it's just a good weapon to go to for me, and I'm still learning the tricks of infantry, so be patient if you see some things that you think are a bit rubbish for any of you Battlefield 3 players that have been playing this non-stop for 9 and a bit years. Still, playing as a medic is probably the best place to start if you're new. Get reviving, put down med crates, and shoot stuff until it dies. It's fairly straightforward, to be honest. Scrap Metal, the map you're looking at, is a really good one. It might not be everyone's favourite from the Close Quarters DLC. I think Zebra Tower is definitely the fan favourite, but it's still a good one. There's loads of flanking routes, and even on a 64-man Conquest Domination server like this, I never really seem to get stuck. I've always got the option to flank. Verticality is a big part of things, and again, the destruction is pretty wonderful. It's not quite as, you know, amazing as Zebra or Operation 925, but it is good. Set inside an abandoned factory, Scrap Metal gives you something that I don't think has been done since on Battlefield in quite the same way. A rough, rugged environment with multiple stories, only infantry, and something you get on a few of these maps. You can fall off the edge of the map. You know, you're not able to just go around in a massive sandbox, as it were. You are hemmed in, almost like more of a Call of Duty TDM map. You can run across these gangways from one side of the factory to the other, but if you fall off, that's it. Just adds a little bit extra to that infantry only mode. It's definitely constant action, and as often with these videos, I'll give you a bit of trivia for this map as well, which will make it maybe slightly more interesting if you do go and play it yourself. Sometimes you'll notice a cargo train passing along the railway line under Charlie Objective. Unfortunately, if you fall off the tracks, the train won't squish you, but you will be out of bounds, so you will die. But you can jump down there as it passes and watch it go past if you want to, or just watch it from above. You also get a jet flying overhead from time to time, nice bit of ambient stuff in the background, And finally, if you join an empty server, or manage to tell everyone on the server to be quiet, which will never happen, but if you join an empty server, you will hear ambient music in the background, similar to that on Mirror's Edge. Whilst I absolutely love scrap metal, it can be difficult to find a server running on the 64-player Conquest Domination. You can see me having a load of fun in the background. I was lucky enough to find one. Unfortunately though, the admin didn't like me and I did get banned. A lot of players get banned from this server, so if you do end up on it, I think it's called Deutschland 2020, you probably will get banned if you get, I think I had a 3 KD and I managed to hit, 100 kills or something. Not bad. For me it was a good game, but it's certainly not cheating and not in cheater territory. And there's nothing worse really than a salty, low-skill admin ruining the fun. They paid for the server, I get it, but it's a bit of a shame, and that's one of the things that really makes going back to older Battlefields a little bit frustrating, is just finding the right server, as we have less players, and all of it's run by admins. Next up, we'll look at Operation 925. It's good fun, this map, but unfortunately, in the rotation for this server, Operation 925 came after Scrap Metal, and I was banned, so I didn't get to play it on that full server. Instead, I went and joined an empty one just to take a look around for nostalgia's sake. It's a great map with so many flanking routes and a similar aesthetic to Zebra Tower. I don't think I've actually played it though on a full server in quite a few years, which is a shame. Some trivia for you. As with all the maps in close quarters, Operation 925 is based in Tehran in Iran. The police cars outside are apparently very similar to the real-life Iranian police cars of the time as well. A little Easter egg for you, in Domination, you can go to the coffee maker in the cafe and see a gauge that reads over 9,000. DICE must have had a Dragon Ball Z fan in the office. There's also another little Easter egg in the northeast room as a picture of Faith from Mirror's Edge hangs on the wall. Lots of Mirror's Edge related design and Easter eggs in this DLC, that's for sure. So moving on to Danya Fortress, you saw a bit of gameplay of this at the very start of the video. It's such a unique map. It seems pretty simple to me to make a small map with 64 infantry players running around it, but you'd be surprised how difficult it must be to make a map flow in a way like this one does. Often you'll find with infantry maps like Metro and Locker, great maps, people love them, but quite often you'll find it turn into a meat grinder where one team is up against another trying to get through a choke point. It doesn't seem to be that way with Danya Fortress. It's a kind of a square map where everyone rotates around that central courtyard with vertical lanes, as in you can go underground or you can go above, and then you have different flanking routes and solid cover inside. Really, really fun, and definitely a map that I suggest you play. You have to try out Danya Fortress if you've never played it, just to get a feeling for this sort of map design that DICE used to have. It's just amazing. Visually, again, I think, it's definitely up there with the stuff we see with Battlefield 5. From a technical standpoint, yes, BF5 and definitely Battlefield 1 are ahead of this. But again, you can't really argue with the graphics for this game being 9 years old. It is, something else. It's absolutely incredible. This Frostbite 2 engine was just so groundbreaking at the time. Again, running on PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 as well. You don't get it on the new gen consoles, which is a massive shame. I know a lot of you really want to play it, but you don't have a PC, so you can't get online. What if DICE were to re-release this on the new gen consoles? I say new gen, PS4 and Xbox One, maybe even on the brand new consoles that come out, the PS5 and the Series X. That would be so amazing. I don't think they will, but if they did, that would be an incredible gift. A bit of trivia for you as well. We'll do one for each of the maps. There's a Super Hornet chasing a Russian Su-35 flanker. You might have seen it as I went outside the courtyard and took a look into the sky. If you're very quiet as well, why this is in the game I don't know, but if you're very quiet you'll hear a cow in the distance. Yes, the animal, a farmyard cow in the distance. Not sure why it's there, but again, someone found it. A bit of trivia worth knowing, I suppose. And finally then, I suppose we're going to take a look at Zebra Tower. Again, you've seen a bit of gameplay on this on the channel, a little bit filtered through the video as well. There isn't really much to say about Zebra Tower that hasn't already been talked about. It's a wonderful map, and whilst it's amongst the smallest maps ever created on Battlefield, it's certainly one of the most fun. The Zebra Tower can be played, of course, on all of the modes that you've got with the Close Quarters DLC, Conquest Domination. You can play, obviously, Gunmaster on it, and Gunmaster is the mode that you'll probably end up playing if you try and play Zebra Tower. There are a lot of servers that run all the time, absolutely full of players just playing Gunmaster. You get mixtures of Gunmaster modes. You can play the pistol onlys, you can play ones that focus on snipers, ones that are just a complete mix of weapons, and you always finish, of course, with getting that knife on the final player. You'll see a clip in here where I actually do win, which is quite rare for me, winning a Gunmaster game. I always get close, I always finish third or second. Usually I have a slow start or a fast start, and then I either catch back up to everybody or fall away from everybody. I can never be consistent through a whole game, but this one I managed to win it, which was really awesome. There's nothing quite like getting that winning feeling on Gunmaster. But yes, you'll probably play Gunmaster if you go back and try and find the Zebra Tower server. You have to do it, and I don't know why DICE never brought back Gunmaster. They had it in BF4, but it wasn't really the same thing. I'm not too sure what they missed, really. Maybe the infantry just wasn't as good as in Battlefield 3. A real shame, but this is still here. Go and play it and try it out. So that's it for this video. It's kind of a weird one, really, because it's a nostalgic throwback to a game that quite often is remembered to be better than it actually was. As you know, you go back and you play old games like Bad Company 2, people say how great it all was, but you go back and play it and you're like, it's actually not that good. It's aged quite a lot. Might have been great at the time, but now it's just not really quite there. Battlefield 3, though, is there. It has a few issues with it, you know, netcode, sometimes you get shot round corners, but it's insanely fun. I'm not playing it to make videos, I'm playing it because I'm having loads of fun, which that's what Battlefield's all about, you know, so definitely go back and try it. As I said, link in the description if you want to buy it cheaply on PC. It'll run on lower end PCs, remember it's nearly a 10-year-old game, so definitely try it out, try and get online and try and enjoy yourself. Thanks for watching. If you did enjoy, leave a like. If you didn't, feel free to leave a dislike down below. And if you want as well, you can join my Discord. There is a link in the description. I'm often playing Battlefield 3. If I'm in one of the public voice channels, join me and we'll play some on PC. It's always fun to get new people involved on Battlefield. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.